Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about having your Sun conjunct somebody else's Pluto in synastry. With the Sun being our identity, our sense of self, and our creative expression, and Pluto really being the more subconscious side of things and those hidden desires that are not necessarily seen at face value, but they are more so an internal energy that is felt up inside by somebody. With the aspect as powerful as the conjunction between these two energies and these two planets, the connection here can be one that is quite intense, and this connection is generally one that can have a very powerful impact on both of the people involved in this relationship. And with Pluto and the Sun coming together, this can be a very transformative relationship for both of the people. And both of the partners can really learn a lot about themselves and can learn a lot about relationships in general and through the way in which they relate. So the Sun is more so wanting to be able to experience recognition and shine, and Pluto is more so about the hidden parts and wanting to be able to kind of gain control and even being able to change things out from the inside out and really have that depth in this connection. And the desires of the Pluto person are brought up to the surface. It could be that it's not apparent to the Pluto person, but this connection, this combination kind of brings up hidden desires that the Pluto person has, and it kind of brings it to the Sun person, kind of shines light on them. And this can be a very strong attraction indicator between the Pluto person and the Sun person. They can feel very drawn to each other. The Sun person feels as though the Pluto person has a very deep understanding of them, or they make them feel understood in a way that's deeper than what they used to. While the Pluto person is very drawn to the Sun person's sense of self and their creative expression, and just what you see on the outside is something that is very warm, and the Pluto person can really feel very drawn to that side of the Sun person. The Pluto person can have a way of making the Sun person feel like they are understood on a deep level that they're not used to. And for the Sun person, it's almost as if they feel like the Pluto person has the ability to be able to kind of bring something to them that is going to be transformative and is going to kind of take them out of their elements in a very fulfilling and deep way. With this conjunction, it can also be challenging at times. For the Sun person can feel as though the Pluto person is trying to control them or control aspects of their lives in a way that is kind of making them feel as though the Pluto person is trying to change them. And that can be something that the Sun person doesn't want for themselves, and so they can feel as though the Pluto person is kind of it's unsettling to the Sun person. And on the other hand, for the Pluto person can feel like they need the Sun person in order to be able to channel their sense of control and be in control of things. So they feel like they need to hold on to the Sun person in order for them to feel powerful. And for the Sun person, it can feel like the Pluto person is kind of challenging their identity, and that is what can feel unsettling for the Sun person. And if the Sun person rejects the Pluto person early on, both the Pluto person and the Sun person can enter into what feels like a karmic relationship. And that is when things are challenging between the Sun person and the Pluto person. It can also feel kind of confusing because there's some very deep emotions that are brought up, and this is a very strong emotional connection that can be formed with this conjunction. And so there's also this attraction, so it can also be a pretty unsure territory to enter into with the Pluto person, and it can feel confusing to both of the partners. But in the positive, with the Pluto person, the Sun person can have kind of a healing effect on the Pluto person in a way that they never knew that they needed by being in connection with the Sun person. And for the Pluto person, the Pluto person can also kind of have this transformative effect on the Sun person, and they can actually really learn a lot from this relationship and this connection. And for the Sun person actually takes a liking towards the way in which the Pluto person really holds on and wants the Sun person. So they want them to want them. And in the long run, for the Sun person kind of experiences change to their persona, and there's that transformative impact that they're going to feel through being in connection with the Pluto person in the long run. And just this conjunction and the transformation that they do experience is one that is also kind of it's in part to do with their growth. They also learn a lot about their own power, and they can also start to see the Pluto person in a new light. So the power and the courage and determination of the Pluto person is apparent to the Sun person, and there is this energy of being able to experience hot and cold at the same time. But for the Sun person and the Pluto person, it's their weaknesses and their strengths that are visible. They recognize both of them recognize each other's weaknesses and strengths, and they kind of are attracted to each other for this, and they both have this desire to be able to experience transformation. And there can be this sense of intensity, and they can both be drawn to each other's intensity. And for the Sun person especially, that's if they are not kind of turned off or set off by the intensity, or it doesn't trigger their insecurity or fears when it comes to that experience of the intensity, that this relationship can really get intense and overwhelming if they're not trying to experience that with somebody, or they are just not ready for that. But overall, either way, there's going to be a need for an openness and willingness to kind of work through any challenges with this conjunction. And with being able to do that, they can actually kind of have a deep understanding in this relationship. It can have a very positive effect even on a personal level for the Pluto person and for the Sun person. They get to experience this transformation of having a deeper understanding of themselves through this relationship. And also when things get difficult or in the negative with this relationship, they can kind of both want to be in control, and they can kind of fight over who gets to be in charge. But at the end of the day, with the Pluto person and the Sun person with this conjunction, there's this sense of attraction that's really kind of drawing them into each other. And the Pluto person and the Sun person feel like they can get something from each other that they feel like they've never experienced before. And despite the difficulties that they can experience or any challenges, they're both really willing to go above and beyond for each other and when it comes to each other. Well, that does it for this video on having your Pluto conjunct your partner's Sun in synastry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.